Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 24th of July. India extends $200 million credit line to Rwanda. Pakistan election campaigning draws to end ahead of vote. And US commanders say Afghan strategy boosting peace hopes. Now for all the details, India on Monday extended $200 million credit line to Rwanda to boost bilateral ties. After delegation-level talks between Rwanda's president and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, both the sides also signed agreements on cooperation in the field of defence, trade, agriculture and animal resources.
India on Monday extended $200 million lines of credit to Rwanda as Prime Minister Narendra Modi held wide-ranging talks with Rwanda's President Paul Kagame. Both the sides signed 8 agreements to boost the bilateral strategic ties by strengthening cooperation in defence, trade, dairy and agriculture sectors. The line of credit agreements include $100 million for development of industrial parks and expansion of Kigali special economic zones, and one for agriculture irrigation scheme in Rwanda worth another $100 million.
आज हमने $200 million के लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट और ट्रेनिंग के विषय पर समझौते किए हैं। आज हमने नए क्षेत्रों जैसे लेदर और डेयरी रिसर्च सहित दोनों देशों के बीच सहयोग के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों पर भी चर्चा की है।
Later on Tuesday, the Indian Prime Minister gifted cows to around 200 households in Rwanda under the Rwandan government's Girinka social protection scheme. After finishing his engagement in Rwanda, Prime Minister Modi was scheduled to travel to Uganda later on Tuesday, where he will hold meetings and other engagements. His visits to Rwanda and Uganda en route South Africa for the BRICS summit after being seen as an important outreach to vie for influence in South Africa.
India's junior foreign minister, along with the ambassador of Japan to India, launched a Japanese Teachers Centre in Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi on Monday. The centre was part of a memorandum of cooperation between the two nations with an objective to promote Japanese language in India.
India's premier varsity, Jawaharlal Nehru University or JNU in the capital New Delhi is set to provide training to those who aim to become Japanese language teachers with the setting up of a new centre. This opportunity was established in collaboration with Japanese government on Monday, where India's junior foreign minister VK Singh launched the centre with Ambassador of Japan to India Kenchi Hiramatsu.
The ambassador himself took very keen interest in ensuring that this facility comes up in JNU. And this is all the more important because the way our relations with Japan have grown over a period of time, we have come to a stage where the personal chemistry between the two prime ministers has ensured that the MOU could be signed in a very short time.
The advisor to the Indian Foreign Ministry of Japanese Matters, Ashok Kumar Chawla, and the Vice-Chancellor of JNU, Jagdesh Kumar, were also present at the launch. The two countries also signed a memorandum of cooperation with an objective to promote Japanese language in India.
In news from Pakistan, leaders of various political parties addressed rallies and political gatherings across Pakistan on Monday as the deadline for electioneering came to a close. Pakistan is scheduled to hold the crucial general election on July 25th.
Campaigning for Pakistan's July 25th general elections drew to close on Monday. With only hours left to convince the voters, parties held last-minute rallies ahead of the midnight deadline as no campaigning was to be held on Tuesday. The main race in Wednesday's vote is between the party of now-jailed former Premier Nawaz Sharif and the party of former cricket star Imran Khan, perceived as favourite of the powerful military.
2018 के इलेक्शन में मैं चाहता हूँ कोई नया कैंडिडेट आया हमारा जो पाकिस्तान को लेकर चले, देश की तरक्की लाजमी अब एक नए कैंडिडेट के हाथ में। हमने पुरानों का आजमा लिया, उनको भी देख लिया, मगर उनसे कुछ काम नहीं हुआ.
Oxford-educated 29-year-old Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is hoping to try to revive the fortunes of his struggling Pakistan's People's Party. Meanwhile, a bumper crop of ultra-Islamist groups are also contesting the poll, with the potential to reshape the political landscape of the nuclear-armed Muslim country with anti-Western rhetoric and calls for ever stricter interpretation of Islamic laws.
Moving on, prominent Baloch activists have urged the Baloch people not to vote in Pakistan's general election on July 25th. Baloch activists have long blamed Islamabad of inflicting atrocities on innocent Baloch people. They now believe that Pakistan's intelligence and military establishment are involved in pre-poll rigging.
Prominent Baloch activists Naila Qadri Baloch and Munir Mengal have urged the people of Balochistan to boycott the upcoming general elections in Pakistan. The activists have blamed that Pakistan's intelligence agencies and the militancy establishment are actively busy in pre-poll rigging. They said Balochistan is a free country which has been forcefully occupied by Pakistan and accused the authorities of carrying out genocide in Balochistan.
These are Pakistani army's selected people who will come and who will sit as their puppets in the assemblies of Pakistan. Baloch people are not part of Pakistan, and Baloch people are not part of their this kind of drama that is they are calling elections.
Unfortunately, ISI and MI has been using the other state institutions like Judiciary, NAB, and Election Commission of Pakistan and civil administration to manipulate, to rig the elections in Pakistan.
Several political leaders and activists have blamed the army generals seem to have clearly marked out their favorite political parties and groups who are being offered full official support. The military has repeatedly denied that it interferes in modern-day politics.
In news from Afghanistan, U.S. commanders in Afghanistan on Monday said the United States strategy is boosting hopes for peace in the country. The commanders said although the ceasefire over Eid was temporary, it demonstrated the increased desire for peace not only from the civilians but from the Taliban as well.
Top US commanders in Afghanistan on Monday said increasing prospects of peace talks with the Taliban shows the US strategy in the country is working despite the continued violence and insurgent control. The comments came as speculation has grown that talks to end the war in Afghanistan may be closer after last month's unprecedented ceasefire over Eid.
The advancement towards the reconciliation goal of President Trump's strategy has seen progress in the last year that we haven't seen in the previous 17 years, and that is significant. I think that's for the reason that we have now gone to a conditions-based strategy. We're no longer on a timeline for withdrawal.
And although the ceasefire was temporary, all parties respected the terms, and there were very few reported breaches. The ceasefire demonstrated the increased desire for peace, not only from the Afghan people, but from the belligerents of the conflict as well.
Afghan President Ashraf Ghani announced the ceasefire on June 12th. That was carried out over Eid, to which the Taliban also agreed and called a ceasefire, but only for 3 days. Almost a year after US President Donald Trump sent more troops to Afghanistan and gave commanders authority to use airstrikes against the Taliban, thousands of civilians are still being killed and the government holds no more than 2/3 of the country.
India and Bangladesh on Monday decided to construct 6 more flea markets at the border of the two nations. The markets are to be established to allow trade in specific products and in accordance with the regulations agreed and notified by both the governments.
A meeting between Indian and Bangladeshi authorities concluded on Monday in India's northeastern Agartala city with the signing of a memorandum of understanding regarding the construction of 6 more flea markets at the border of the two nations. Out of the proposed 6 new border markets, the eastern Tripura province is to get 2 markets while neighbouring Meghalaya will have 4 more.
দুই দেশের ভিতরে 2010 সালে একটা স্বাক্ষরিত মেমোরেন্ডাম অফ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং এবং মুড অফ অপারেশন এই দুটো ডকুমেন্টের বলে এই বর্ডার হাট পরিচালিত হয়ে আসছে। 4টা বর্ডার হাট বাংলাদেশ ভারতের সীমান্তে ভারতের বিভিন্ন রাজ্যে 4টা বর্ডার হাট পরিচালিত হচ্ছে এবং আরও 6টা বর্ডার হাট এটা নির্মাণাধীন আছে।
A joint committee is now to review the operations and suggest modifications in the operational modalities of the border markets. The markets are established in selected areas to allow trade in specified products and in accordance with the regulations agreed and notified by both governments.
A historic silk factory was reopened after 30 years in India's Jammu and Kashmir province recently. The oldest factory in Srinagar city of the province once employed more than 1,700 people producing the best quality silk. It now aims to boost the sericulture sector and generate employment opportunities in the valley.
The oldest silk factory in Srinagar city of India's Jammu and Kashmir was recently reopened after 3 decades as the province looks to boost its sericulture sector and generate employment opportunities. In the early 90s, the silk factory employed more than 1,700 people and they produced the best quality silk, which was in demand at the time.
मैं बहुत मशकूर हूँ इस गवर्नमेंट का जिसने दोबारा ये शुरू किया है क्योंकि इसका फ़ायदा कश्मीर को होगा, कश्मीर के बच्चों को होगा और डिपार्टमेंट को होगा। सबसे बेहतर बात यही है।
30 साल के बाद अब ये रिवाइव कर रहे हैं और इस रिवाइवल से आई थिंक देयर इज एम्प्लॉयमेंट व्हिच विल बी जनरेटेड, द ट्रेडिशनल आर्ट्स एंड क्राफ्ट विल बी रीजनरेटेड और एक जो J&K and Kashmir and Srinagar was proud of its silk, वो एक रिवाइव हो जाता है।
The Kashmir silk industry once held a significant position in the world due to its superior quality and luster. But gradually, the industry suffered a sharp decline. India has overall demand of 48,000 metric ton of silk annually. It is the second largest producer and consumer of silk products in the world.
An age-old Hindu festival is underway in India's northeastern Tripura province. The week-long annual event is celebrated with pomp and fervour involving worship of only heads of 14 gods and goddesses, making it a unique festival.
Thousands of Hindu devotees are gathering in huge numbers in India's northeastern Tripura province to offer prayers and take part in the celebrations of week-long Kharchi Puja festival. The festival began with procession taken out to mark the beginning of the festival, which was attended by priests and devotees. The head priest along with other priests perform rituals aimed at cleaning the sins of mortal souls as devotees gathered to take part in the rituals and seek blessings.
कहने जाओ तो ये 5000 से ऊपर की एक हिस्ट्री है, इसका एक इतिहास है, एक धरोहर है त्रिपुरा के लिए। यहाँ पे जो है 14 देवता है, देव देवियाँ है, जो कि हजारों साल से पूजा जा रहा है।
আমরা তো সবসময় ছোটবেলা থেকেই আসি, এখনো আমার পরিবার নিয়ে আসি, খুব ভালোই লাগে, জাতি উপজাতি সবারই একটা মিলন, খুব সুন্দরই লাগে পরিবেশ, এইজন্য আমরা আসি সবাই।
The annual festival is celebrated with pomp and fervour involving worship of only heads of 14 gods and goddesses, making it a unique festival. The festival, although associated with indigenous tribal deities, is influenced by the Brahminical Hindus. The deities are brought out during the 7-day festival, only as rest of the year they remain locked in the room.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.